Hello. Once you've taken the PI behavioral assessment, we take that information and turn it into a PI behavioral pattern. In that pattern, we measure 4 different drives, or the 4 factors. They are A, dominance, the drive for influence on people and events; B, extroversion, the drive for social interaction; C, patience, the drive for consistency and stability; and D, formality, the drive for rules and structure. Understanding each one of these 4 drives will help us better understand a person and how they operate in the workplace. PI has administered over 20 million assessments, and to make it easy for you, we've created 17 reference profiles. Think of it as shorthand or an easy, digestible way for you to understand a wide variety of behaviors and needs. Your behavioral pattern might not fit exactly into one of these reference profiles, but most likely they'll come close. Your reference profile most closely matches a craftsman profile. Let's talk about some basic needs and behaviors that come along with a craftsman profile. So the first thing we can talk about is your need for structure and your need for rules. You are very much about having that guidebook, that rule book to follow along, and you really need it in your day-to-day. You also are more reserved, so you're much more analytical, you're more technical. For you, it's very much about the things, the tactical things that you need to have. You also have patience in your pattern, so you are someone that likes to take those things and look at them over and over and over again. You also have slightly lower dominance, so what that tells us is that you are a team player and you definitely think about the team. You'd prefer to work as part of a team, but that structure at the end of the day is really what guides your role on that team. You very much want to make sure that you have that process in place. Let's talk a little bit about some areas of strengths and challenges that come along with a craftsman pattern. So some areas of strengths are your ability to be that subject matter expert, right? So that's why we call it a craftsman. So someone who can really protect their craft and perfect what they do. For you, it's all about knowing all the important pieces of a subject and then becoming that expert on that subject. You'll have no problem in an environment that allows you to be the holder of that craft, as long as you're given the time and the ability to study. So if you are going into a new environment where you're not quite sure about the new product or you're not quite sure about what you're supposed to do, for you, you absolutely are going to need the time and the information and the training to help you get to that point. So some challenges that come along with the craftsman pattern are that because you need so much information and because you so want to be that subject matter expert, if you're put into an environment where you're not given those opportunities, that's going to become really stressful for you. You also don't want to make decisions too quickly. So again, if you're part of a group that really wants to move things along, you'd much rather just wait and see it out rather than make that decision. That can cause a little friction sometimes, right? Because if you want things to kind of stop and look again, that may go against what the drive is of the rest of the team. So just some things to think about. Decision-making style. So for you, decisions are about facts and information and the analytics and the technical side of it. It's not necessarily about how it feels. It's more about how does it actually look on paper. You are definitely more risk averse. So when you are in the middle of a decision or when you're going through your decision-making process, it's important for you that you outline all the different aspects of risk and that you cover those bases, right? That you make sure that you've checked all those boxes so that you produce a high quality outcome. Communication style, let's talk about that. So for you, communication style, it's going to be a little dependent on the situation that you're in. So you're definitely a little bit more reserved. We talked about the fact that you're more of a team player. So you're not going to have an aggressive communication style. But when you're in your area of expertise, you'll have no problem sharing your opinion. So your communication style can be and will be a little bit more direct. and it can be and will be a little bit more to the point. Not aggressive, not in your face, but definitely can be a little bit more technical in that approach. In summary, some words that I would use to describe a craftsman pattern are detail-oriented, thorough, reserved, analytical, patient, and risk-averse. So that's a little bit more about your craftsman profile.